What's going on, everyone? This is Scream Truth. Today we're going to do a Fate of the Gods review. This is going to have spoilers in it, so if you guys haven't done the quest yet, or don't want the ending ruined, then don't watch this video, because we're going to go over a lot of stuff here. If you don't mind about spoilers, then by all means. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and split this review into a few different categories. We're going to start with the visuals, then we're going to start or continue with music, and then finally graphics. So, story first. I am very impressed. The entire story was, in fact, what Jagex said, and epic. I really think that this is probably one of the best quests I've ever done that involves lore. Zaros' character is just so rich. He has so much story behind him, and the way the quest handles it is just perfect, because you can know as much as you want, or you can just continue to move on if you don't care that much about lore. I personally went through as much lore as I could with all the memory crystals that I did find, and that was awesome. The puzzles, they were a bit simple. They didn't match anything really with lore. Maybe they will. Symbols for the world gate, for example, maybe that will match lore in the future. But overall, the storyline was amazing. You got to not only meet Zaros, you got to meet the elder god Ma, who is growing weak. And Ma actually use some of her essence to create Zaros. So Zaros is trying to, from what I am seeing out of this, get more energy from Ma so he can ascend to elder godhood. Now, this is a really interesting concept, and Zaros swears that he is telling the truth, and well, I guess you could agree with that, or you couldn't, with the way Zaros' entire abilities work. He basically said at the end of the quest, after you helped him or like hurt him, he said that he crushed his own empire to see who was really loyal, because part of how he was created, people had to listen to him. And that's a really interesting concept. I just think Zaros' character is just so intelligent, and all of this just fits him perfectly. As for the other characters, including the Majorat, I thought they played their parts pretty well. The main focus, though, was definitely on you yourself, the character, and Zaros. So, really, that's kind of all I want to talk about with lore. The lore was really great. It was really rich, and I really enjoyed it. So now let's move on to the music, and the music is fantastic. I mean, they have a nice compilation of orchestral pieces, as well as some computerized stuff that's not like we've heard before. It's definitely RuneScape, if you will. I'll go ahead and show you a few clips of that in here. These pieces are just put together so well. They fit the ambient of the whole quest, the darkness of RuneScape, the epicness of fighting the nightmares of Ma, and it's so good. It's so perfect. It's quiet when it needs to be, and it's in your face when things are like when you're in trouble. Like the music is just great. I don't think a quest has had music that matched the themes so well, and I enjoyed every single piece. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I went and listened to these songs a second time before even making this review. I think my favorite ones, however, have to be the very opening one where you're at the World Gate. I think this one's just the melody. That one's really nice. Also, I really like that dubsteppy battle one in the Nightmare Cradle track. That one's really good. The rest are really nice ambient ones. But those are the two that stood out the most to me. So I think, music-wise, this got a 10 out of 10. It's the best music I've ever heard come from a quest. And if you guys have not heard it yet, go hear it. It's good stuff. Alright, finally we're going to move on to graphics. The reason why I say graphics to last is because this category really doesn't affect the review as much as the first two categories, but I'm saving it to last basically because Jerry said that we would be super impressed with the way RuneScape looked. And was I super impressed? No, I wasn't really impressed. I did admit that there was a lot of different kind of pathways, and it made RuneScape look really complex and rocky and jaggedy, and it was so dangerous to go through there. But really, the only scene that stood out to me that wasn't a cutscene, where you were in-game stuff, it was the part where you just walk out of the World Gate into RuneScape. That part was just so cool. It was so gripping. It was like you just stepped onto a brand new plane for the first time ever, and this was just so cool. And it just seems so abandoned with the angle as you walk through, and the camera's coming around the side of the mountain, and it just sees you walking there in the darkness, and that's just so cool. I really like that. But as for the rest of RuneScape, it just felt so small. It felt so linear, and that's something that I really don't want to see when they say that it's going to be graphically impressive. Linear, just a bunch of agility obstacles, really nothing that special. They redid lava stuff. They put lightning on there. I think that the graphics will be a little more impressive once we see the HTML5 draw distance go into play, because you'll be able to see more than just this one specific line of pathway that you're on. You'll be able to see almost the whole mountainside of RuneScape, and that will just look so much cooler, more epic. And I think that's really my only gripe about that. I was really impressed when you went into the Elder Hall beneath Ma, and that was really cool. That was like epic dungeoneering time. I really thought the EXP from harvesting Ma energy would be a little bit higher than 5 or 6 from just a siphon, but what can you do, really? It looked pretty cool, and the whole transforming of Zaros was really cool. I thought that the parts where Zaros was in your mind, though it's better than what Jagex has done in the past, it just felt a little bit plain. It felt like they could have done something more with that, and they didn't. But that's really all I have to say about graphics. Graphics were really good, but they weren't that wow factor that Jagex promised to me. So let's go ahead and wrap 3 categories together and give a actual score to this. I'm gonna score it out of 10, and I'm probably gonna give this quest a 8.5 out of 10. The reason why it's not gonna be a 9 or even a 10 is because Jagex did promise for much more amazing graphics, and I just did not get that. Also, I do think that they could have done maybe a little bit more lore, or they could have tried a little bit harder in some areas. Like for instance with the Zaros actual model, It didn't have the hands on his shoulder pads. They were just spikes. And I remember when I saw the model, it's just like, oh my god, the hands on his shoulder pads looks freaking awesome. But overall, the story is just amazing. It's really good. It's probably one of the best stories I've ever gone through in questing. It's probably the best music pieces I've gone through in questing. It's just the graphics and probably a little lack of character development between Slisk and Zaros, or just a few of the other Zarosian characters. And after the quest, I'm going to say counts a little bit. The rewards to this, really good. I really like the fact that you have to go around the world to collect these rewards a little bit more. I think that's something that they should do a little bit more often with other quests. But overall, 8.5 on this quest. What do you guys think? Have you done the quest yet? Comment below, let me know. Thank you guys all for watching. If you like these quest reviews or content reviews, I plan to be doing more. Just give me some feedback, and I'll see you guys all next time.